All right. Show Me the Money is back for the first time since March. We are doing our NFL over unders here on the podcast. And as is tradition with this podcast, join me today, the host of the Sharp Cheddar podcast, Joe Dalvizio is here. Joe, how are you?
Mike, I am doing well. Show me the money, baby. Show me the money.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a long time since we talked. I think last time you were on was what, the draft?
Yeah, I believe so. It's been a while.
Yeah, because I feel like you after the draft, you kind of go underground in the podcast circuit. Not really much happened in the football world.
Yes. I usually like to take a little bit of a hiatus post NFL draft. Granted, this season there was a little bit more to talk about when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. There's always stuff to talk about. I just choose to take that hiatus. But yeah, there was a lot to talk about regarding Aaron Rodgers and whatnot. So I went a little bit post NFL draft, and then I took a little bit of a break. But we're back up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they were the story of the offseason. You had all this drama. Is Aaron Rodgers going to show up? Is he going to force his way out? Is he going to retire? Is he going to host Jeopardy? He ends up coming back. They changed his contract. Basically, it looks like, as he alluded to with Devontae Adams on Instagram before the season, it's sort of the one last dance for him with Green Bay. So what's your thoughts on that situation, how that ended up resolving?
So if you remember, we had this conversation on the air, off the air. I was in the camp believing that Aaron Rodgers was not going to come back and play quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I thought the damage was done. I thought there was no way that they could repair this, and his time in Titletown was over. I was wrong. You said resolve. I don't think much has been resolved other than the fact that he's back in town. I still sense some sort of animosity, some sort of not getting along when it comes to Aaron Rodgers in the front office, and I don't blame him. The one thing that I really don't like is why all the drama this offseason, right? Why all the drama, the storylines, the news stories that broke. That's what bothered me the most with this whole situation. Again, speaking as a fan, I'm thrilled that Rodgers is back because that's the difference between a Super Bowl contender versus a team that's picking in the top end of the NFL draft come spring. So I'm thrilled that he's back, but as you just mentioned, it certainly seems like this is the last dance.
Yeah, it definitely is. And also now that we have these host of Jeopardy spot open again, maybe he's doing guest hosting on the bye week again.
I mean, that definitely could be a possibility. I know I saw some articles saying that, look out, Aaron Rodgers could be on the move once again. I mean, read what you want, believe what you want. He's there, at least for this season, to play football with the Green Bay Packers. Post that, who knows?
Yeah, did you watch any of his Jeopardy episodes?
I did. I thought he was good. He has that dry sense of humor that, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah. It takes a certain skills to host that show. I feel like he's got a lot of qualities for it.
Oh, without a doubt. You have to be somewhat witty and be able to control the room. And that's one thing that when Aaron Rodgers reported back to camp, right, and he had that presser where he spoke to the media for 35, 40 minutes, and he was as candid as ever. He controlled the room, captivating, allowed, let people inside. Much more than any athlete that I've heard in a while, right? So it's same thing, I guess, when you're hosting a show. You got to have some sort of a personality, despite many people thinking Aaron Rodgers doesn't have one.
Yeah, that's true. I also hope that some of his magic picks he does rubs off on Zach Wilson. Recording the week after the Jet Packer preseason game, had those two joint practices. Obviously, it didn't go great for the Jets. They lost Carl Lawson for the season and them, but Zach Wilson getting to rub shoulders with Aaron Rodgers can only help him, I think.
I hope. I mean, I've read two sides of it, right? Many people saying, "Hey, Zach, stay away from Aaron Rodgers," and many people saying, "Oh, you're going to learn a lot from Aaron Rodgers in that week of camp." So it really depends on what side of the story or what you think of Aaron Rodgers in order to come up with some sort of a conclusion about, how things went between those two.
Yeah, I got to watch that game. So obviously, I was disappointed not seeing many of your guys. I was not expecting Rodgers to play, but they basically had all the starters in that game. And Wilson played well, but again, like massive grain of salt because he played basically every single backup Green Bay had.
Yeah, I mean I think that's overall for all preseason. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. If you're new rookie quarterback, goes out there for 3 series and looks good, yeah, that's awesome, right? Or if he plays well for a majority of the game, that's awesome. But odds are he's not playing against who he'd be playing on in a couple Sundays. So pump the brakes. We'll find out who they really are in just a couple of weeks.
Although I would rather have him be playing well than struggling Trevor Lawrence did last night.
Of course.
Yeah.
You'll want to see your franchise quarterback or your hopeful franchise quarterback do well out there, no matter who's on the opposite side of the field. But with that being said, again, it means nothing because come week 1, come week 4, it could be a complete disaster deer in the headlight situation.
Absolutely. And let's get to the task at hand. We're going to do our NFL over-under picks for the season. We have 3 overs, 3 unders. Using the lines from FanDuel Sportsbook. The lines are current as of August 24th, 2021. So about a week prior to this dropping your feeds. These are the lines going in there. And obviously, we're going to put this out here. If somebody suffers a massive preseason injury in this, I will talk to Joe off the air. And if it affects one of our picks, I will update you on the podcast after the fact. But for now, I feel like we'll be in good shape.
I think I did pretty poorly last season.
I think I won. I don't remember
I think you won as well. That's why I was a little shocked when you called me back for the over-unders. I said, I wasn't a crowd pleaser, that's for sure.
Well, to be fair, my baseball picks are horrible this year, so I feel like I might be slumping a little bit.
All right. I hope so.
Yeah, I think I looked at it recently. I think I may have 1 or 2 picks correct at most out of the 6 I did. I might lose that for the first time.
Okay. Well, there's a first for everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to start off here. Since you were the guest here, I'm going to give you the choice. Would you like to have the first pick or the second and third picks? After that, we're going to go back to alternating picks.
I will like to have the second pick.
All right, so you'll have 2 and 3. I'm going to start off here at pick number 1. I got to go back to my list. I took some notes ahead of time about ones I like here. And I'm going to take one I think that you would have taken. So I feel like you're going to not be like me very much out of this. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers over 10.5 wins.
I did not take that one.
Oh, I'm surprised because I think just look at the number here. I feel like it's too low considering the division they play in, where Minnesota had massive defensive issues last year. Chicago probably transitioned a rookie quarterback. Detroit's in a full rebuild. They won 13 games last year. You get an extra game. Your only number is 10.5. That's a little fishy to me. I get Rodgers didn't go through the whole offseason. I like what they have set up there. I still think, are they winning 11 games? If they lose 2 more than they did last year, I think they're going to do that. I think getting to 11 is an easy number for me. So I'm going to take the Packers over the 10.5 for my first pick.
Yeah, I think it's a smart pick, Mike. I mean, I'll be completely transparent with you. I never like picking my team or against my team, so I kind of stay away from that. With that being said, though, all your points make perfect sense. Aaron Rodgers is back, and that was the biggest question mark, and it didn't matter what the rest of the roster looked like. And I think, 11 or 12 wins within 1 extra game on the board is definitely doable in a weak division.
For sure. Let's go to your first pick. What are you doing with your first one?
Okay. My first one, I am going Carolina Panthers over 7.5. Okay. A little bit of a surprise. I love what Matt Rule what he's already done in Carolina. I like even more the fact that he's got a quarterback that he wants in Sam Darnold. And I know you watched a lot of Sam Darnold, and you're probably done with Sam Darnold at this point. But I think a new start, some fresh air, a new sense, new scenery for Sam Darnold is exactly what the young quarterback needs to rejuvenate his career. I could definitely see it happening. He has talent across the board. There's no excuses now, right? We kept giving him that excuse in New York that he's got no support system. Well, damn it, he's got a really, really good support system. And if he can't get it done in Carolina, then maybe, he's not the quarterback people thought he once would be and would become. I love the Panthers over 7.5 in this one.
Yeah, I think 2 things work in your favor in that one. Number one, as you mentioned, getting Darnold away from Adam Gase and into a system that's more offensive friendly is good. Plus, the division stinks, aside from Tampa Bay. And, those numbers are all about the same for the other 3, about 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9. So, you're banking that the Panthers, that team that gets to second place, wins double-digit games, potentially. So, I think that's something you could make a nice bet on.
For my second, I'm going to stay within that division and go Saints under 9. I've always said this, and this is my MO in the NFL. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win, especially in the modern day in NFL. I know the Saints, pretty sure Jameis Winston is now, getting the nod, but whether it's Winston, whether it's Hill, whoever it is, they're not Drew Brees. right? They're not Drew Brees. That offense is going to take a humongous step backward. Questions at the quarterback position. Michael Thomas injury. He doesn't even want to be there. So who knows when he comes back and what he will be able to produce. I think this is a big letdown season for the Saints. So give me the under on that.
Yeah, that was on my list too. One of my early ones I had on there. I love that pick because again, like the quarterback situation is just so unsettled because yes, James looked great last night against the Jaguars as we're recording this, but again, it's preseason in the Jaguars. There's not much to sell you on here. And they lost a lot of talent for that team because of the cap concern. So like the past, that's team sort of supported Drew Brees. Now you don't have Drew Brees and the cast around it got worse. And I feel like they will lose games to Atlanta, they'll lose games to Carolina, they'll lose games to Tampa. And their schedule is a first place schedule. So they have tough teams coming in. So I would not be shocked. This is like a 6-7 win year for the Saints.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Like I said, it's not very easy to replace Drew Brees. And I know Taysom Hill's like, oh my God, superstar factor, like flash, boom. He gets the crowd going, but like, does that really get it done in the NFL? Maybe for a few weeks. You go a full season. No, thank you. And Jameis Winston, hey, if he was that good, he'd still be a quarterback in his old place in Tampa Bay. But they moved on, and look how that worked out.
Yes, they did. I'm going to go up next for my next pick. I'm going to take my first under here. I'm going to take the Patriots under the 9 on the win.
You can't do that, Mike. That's on my list. Come on.
Yeah, well, I had to do that because how often does the team that wins the offseason actually dramatically improve their record the next year?
Yeah, well, my main point was this is not the league that you just bring in free agents and win. Yep. Right. And they were extremely active in free agency. And that's something that Bill Belichick usually doesn't do.
Yeah, he does it.
And I don't know if he did that because he knew like, hey, I don't know what's going on with this team and what we have. So let's just try to bring in a complete overhaul and hope for the best. But that doesn't work in the NFL. That doesn't work in the NFL. They're going to have close to 9 new starters on this team.
Yeah.
I think that's a recipe for disaster. And Bill Belichick's just trying to figure things out post Tom Brady.
Not only that, they don't have a quarterback still because Cam Newton did not look the same last year after COVID. Then everybody's like, oh, Mac Jones. Bill Belichick got exactly who he wanted in the draft. I'm like, Bill Belichick could not feel comfortable enough to go up and get Mac Jones. He just sort of read the board and said, Mac will fall to me. And I don't think everyone's saying, oh, he's Tom Brady 2.0. You can't put that on a kid. And like, he is very athletically limited. He's a pocket guy in the modern NFL. That's not a problem.
And even if Cam Newton is back and he's ready to play, because like you said, who knows? I don't see much left in the tank for Cam Newton.
Yeah. Plus that receiving core too. Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, N'Keal Harry, Jacoby Myers. Like, who scares you in that group?
Nobody. Yeah. And he doesn't even have the running back to really rely on. It seems like a total mess. I could see the Patriots only winning like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I think they're going to be way underachieving. So that's my first under on the board. You have one of each on the board. You're up for your next one. Where are you going?
Do I need to replace my Patriots pick now?
Yes.
Well, you're going to have to give me some time, big guy.
Yeah, well, you have other ones on the board so you can pull from and then just go back to it later.
Yeah, so I will stick with the under. And I am going to go under 9.5 for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys.
That was on my list too.
Good. I'm glad I took one off your list. I think it's the same old story when it comes with the Cowboys. Every year, high expectations. And then they let you down. Typically, I think last year I was on the over with the Cowboys because I was super excited about, Dak Prescott looking good, Mike McCarthy. There's a lot of questions there. The defense, ton of holes. Mike McCarthy, does he take that next step in another season with the Dallas Cowboys? Dak Prescott, how does he come back from injury? What does he look like? I just think there's just so much uncertainty. The only thing that somewhat helps, the division isn't the greatest, but has definitely improved. But I just don't see them winning 10 games this season.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. Just because, again, like, can they stop anybody? They have a lot of good teams in that schedule, a lot of good offenses. Like, are they going to, let's tell you they win every game like 41-35. I don't see them winning like 10 games. I think this is, again, like sort of that 9-8 area, which is so weird to say it's 17 games. They're going to be right around that like 500 mark.
I hate the whole 9-8, 8-9 kind of a thing with the one extra. I love the extra game, but it's going to confuse me with the whole schedule and the final records and everything. It's going to drive me crazy. It's going to take some time to get used to. But yeah, I agree. And again, Dak Prescott is everything there, right? If he's not fit to play coming off the surgery, who knows what you have? You could have a really, really bad team. And that's a shame because there is a tremendous amount of talent on that offense and young talent. So if Dak could stay healthy, get it going, and Mike McCarthy could get that offense going, it could be a successful season. But that's also a big concern too. Mike McCarthy had Aaron Rodgers and those weapons and couldn't figure it out. So
Yeah, the thing I also think with that team, also that situation in terms of just the whole board, I feel like there's a lot of those numbers as you're in the totals when you're looking at FanDuels. Like a lot of them are like that 7, 8, 9 range. They don't know what to do with a lot of these teams.
yeah, I don't blame them, especially with the extra game.
Yeah. I'm going to go next here. I'm going to take an over here. I feel like this one is, again, a slight risk because of the offensive line change. I'm going to take the Chiefs over 12.5 wins because for me, like this is a team that has the best player on the planet. They have done a lot of work to stock the offensive lineup. They have tons of weapons. They have a good defense. Their division is getting better, but not quite there yet. This team won 13 games last year with Mahomes like dealing with some stuff. They have an extra game to play with. Are you telling me I feel confident they can go 13-4 or hit that number? So I'm going to take the Chiefs over the 12.5.
I don't know. I was pretty concerned after that Super Bowl and what that offensive line looked like and how Patrick Mahomes was impacted with that. But it's Patrick Mahomes, right? Yeah. So if anyone could pull it off, it is him and the Chiefs.
Yeah. Plus for me, it's not like if it was one higher, I would not have done it. It was like 13.5 wins. I'm like, no, I can't do that. But I can see him going 13-4. I think I can still win the bet with that.
That's tough. Absolutely.
All right. Next up for you, you have one under and 2 overs left to play.
Okay. So my next over, I'm going to stay within the Cowboys division and take the Washington football team over 8.5. I think this probably may be my riskiest of them all. But with that being said, I think Washington, sneaky good football team, and sneaky good because not many people are talking about this team. They have an incredible defense, arguably top corner tandem in the league, and I think that's going to be huge for them. They could get after the quarterback with ease. The other factor that I like on the offensive side of things, they now have some stability at quarterback with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know he's been a journeyman, but you know what you're going to get out of him, and he's a safe guy to have there. Now, unless Father Time has called and Ryan Fitzpatrick completely forgets how to play football and regresses tremendously, then this pick is going to look terrible. But if he could just control the game, and Washington will probably end up squeezing out a lot of close wins because of how good that defense is, and he controls the game, controls the ball, I think they have a good shot of getting 9 wins and even possibly winning this division.
Yeah, I had that on my list too for the overside. I think with that one, I was looking at it, I'm like, that Washington team kind of feels a little bit like those 2015 Jets that Fitzpatrick sort of stepped in on when Geno got punched in the face and lost the quarterback job. And like, they're in a weaker division, and 8.5 is not a big number. And like, you could see them saying, oh, win 10 games, win the NFC East. And like, you could see that pretty easily because Dallas can't defend, and I don't trust the Giants. So I think those are two that I'm very happy with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Washington's a team that not many people are talking about, that they should be.
That is very true. I'm up now. I still have 2 unders and an over left to play with. So I think I go back to the underside here. I'm going to go to one. I feel like this is a little bit injury dependent, but considering its history, I feel comfortable taking it. I'm going to take the 49ers under 10.5 wins because I feel like that number is too high given the stacked division they play in. The NFC West is brutal. Jimmy Garoppolo, when he's healthy, yes, they're great, but he hasn't played a complete season, I think, outside of 2019 since, I think, ever. And again, they have Trey Lance there, that little ticking time bomb of like, do we go to the rookie quarterback if things start struggling here? They had some issues. They lost Robert Saleh at defensive end. That's going to impact their defensive play calling. I think the number's too high. I think this is more of a 9-win team than an 11-win team. So I'm going to take the Niners under the 10.5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually have they weren't on my list, but I do have a team in that division that I've placed for my under because of exactly what you said. The division's brutal. They're going to beat up on each other. And speaking of the Niners, I was pretty impressed with what they were able to do considering all the injuries last season. There's no way that could happen back-to-back seasons. And if they do, geez, I feel terrible if you're a Niners fan. But comes down to what you're going to get at the quarterback position, who's going to end up playing that quarterback position. Can Jimmy G lead the way.
That's for sure. And Jimmy G, again, playing basically for his job because Trey Lance is there. He's had some moments in the preseason. I just think also I like this pick. It's like, if the switch comes, I think they're going to have some issues with him getting used to NFL games. He basically hasn't played one game in 2 years.
I know. I think it's going to take some time to get him up to speed. And if it's up to the organization, they're hoping that Jimmy G could kind of lead the way, stay healthy, and be in there, because there are going to be a lot of ouch moments watching Trey Lance play, only because he hasn't played.
Yeah, that's very true. And you are up still. You have one more over, one more under. What are you doing next?
All right. So I'm staying under in that same division, and I'm going under 8.5 with the Arizona Cardinals. All right. Part of the reason why, just like you mentioned, that division, toughest in the NFL. Those teams are going to beat up on each other. I'm not totally convinced that Kyler Murray is your franchise guy. I'm not totally convinced that Cliff Kingsbury controls the room and he's a guy that guys respect in that locker room. I think, yeah, it was nice to see them play well at times last season. I don't see them winning 9 games, though.
Yeah, I think also that thing people I think are overrating their offseason. Like the guys they brought in, I think are way past their prime. Like JJ Watt has not been healthy in years. I mean, he had some good moments with the Texans last year, but again, they won 4 games with him and Deshaun Watson healthy. And then what happens with that? Plus, AJ Green hasn't done a thing in 2 years, and now he's being as the number 2 receiver out there. And I don't trust that these moves are going to help them out as much as they think they will.
Well, look at last season, right? Seahawks 12-4, Rams 10-6, Cardinals 8-8. 49ers 6-10. I think the 49ers are definitely taking a step forward. The Rams are probably right around that same team. Maybe the Seahawks take a little bit of a step back, but I don't think that's enough to boost the Cardinals one more win than what they had last season. And like you said, the offseason moves would have been great 4 years ago. I don't know about now.
Yeah, that's for sure. I have one more over, one more under left to go. I'm still going to marinate on the under for a minute, so I'm going to take one over that I think the number is so low that I think there's value here. I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders over 7 because I still think there's a lot of talent on that team. I feel like, yes, the offensive line reshuffling is a little questionable from John Gruden, but they have some talent there at receiver. They have some talent in the backfield with Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. They have some capabilities on defense, and it's only 7 wins I have to top. It's not a low bar. If they go 8-9, I win the number. I don't think they're bad to really bottom out this year. I'm going to take the Raiders at the over, my last over.
I think the biggest concern there is John Gruden and the lack of success that the Raiders have had since he took over, right? And, some of his questionable draft decisions year in and year out. I think that number is low coming off an 8-win season. With that being said, I think that division also got tougher too. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Chargers are going to have a better year with in year number 2 for Justin Herbert. And I think the Broncos are even going to have a better season. So it won't be easy for the Raiders to reach that number. That's for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's just a matter of low bar to clear. I like those in the overs, and you don't have to get that much work done to get the over.
Well, sometimes it looks a lot easier on paper than it is.
Yeah, that's very true. And you have one left here. You have an over. What's your final over?
My final over, and I can't believe I'm doing this, but my final over is the Cleveland Browns over 10.5. And I think the Browns have finally convinced me that they're here to play. They're here to stay. All that sucking has finally paid off. Here we go. It's time for the Browns. One of the best offensive lines in the NFL, which obviously helps any quarterback, but will definitely help Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's got talent on both sides of the ball. Granted, you're asking for 11 wins. You start the season off against the Chiefs. That isn't the ideal start, but I think they have a pretty favorable schedule overall that'll help them mixed with the talent that they have to get to that number 11.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure with that team because I'm looking at the Browns, and obviously people aren't way down the Steelers. So the number was 8.5 this year for a team that won like 13 games last year. So you're looking at it going, like they must really not be down the Steelers. And the Browns, obviously, they go to the playoffs, they win a game, they go to Kansas City. They could have won that game when Patrick Mahomes goes out. And this is one I stayed away from it just because, again, I want to see, can they maintain success? Because now everybody's going to look at them and say, oh, they're one of the teams that can challenge the Chiefs in the AFC. They can legitimately go to a Super Bowl. So I've seen many a team go through that. It comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden next year they're winning like 8 games. So that's the reason I stay away from it.
No, yeah, I totally get that thought process. I think the Steelers actually take a step back. I also think this could have been a special year, a better year for the Bengals, but Joe Burrow coming off the ACL, who knows what you're going to get out from him, when he's going to be ready, how he's going to perform when he comes back. So there's a lot of questions there, but I look at the schedule, I look at the talent on both sides of the ball, and I say, if the Browns can't get it done now, I don't think they're ever going to be able to get it done.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And the last one I have here is an under, which is challenging because there are several that I'm considering. I'm trying to decide what direction would be the best to go here because I could take a big shot here. I could also go local here. I have one local angle I think could go under here. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the New York Football Giants under 7.
Oh,
mostly
your New York fans, your New York listeners aren't going to be happy about that.
And this is the reason why. And this is something I've learned firsthand. A bad offensive line can destroy your season. And the Giant offensive line has looked brutal in the preseason. They did nothing to address it in the offseason. They've already had injury issues on it. They have a lot of good pass rushers on their schedule in there. And I get they play in the NFC East, but Dallas has a higher powered offense. Dallas can outscore them. I get the Giant defense is good. But at the same time, if you're on the field all the time, that defense can wear down. Like if they're getting out there like 35, 38 minutes a game, they're going to wear down these games. And I think the NFC East, I get that they have great secondary. I get that the division is weak, but I just don't trust this team. And I get this. There are more opportunities here in the schedule, but do you trust Daniel Jones here to make the big leap forward?
Mike, what happened to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers?
He almost died because of the offensive line.
Okay. And Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, right?
Yes.
Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Sure.
So with that being said, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be the best quarterback in the NFL. If you don't have an offensive line and time to throw the ball, it is going to be a disaster. And that's terrible for a guy like Daniel Jones, who's had issues turning the ball over, right? I mean, I know it's been more fumble related, but still. If there's going to be teams that could get after you and get to that ball, and he doesn't have time to throw the ball, that's going to be an issue. Now, a lot of people said, "Oh, Daniel Jones, he has no talent around him." Giants addressed that in the draft, addressed it in the offseason with Kenny Golladay. But if they don't have time, if they don't give Daniel Jones the time to throw the ball, it's going to be a long season for the New York Giants.
Yeah, and that line scared the hell out of me. I know this because I've had the last couple of seasons of my team basically destroyed because the offensive line couldn't keep the quarterback upright. It basically broke the quarterback. And Daniel Jones has not done a lot to say, oh, he's the guy. He can survive regardless of what you put in front of him. Like he needs structure to help him out. And I don't think they gave him enough.
No, definitely not. And the thing is, if they struggle mightily this season, everyone's going to be looking more towards Daniel Jones and saying, did the Giants take the right guy?
Yeah.
Should they have gone to another quarterback this season?
Yeah. I also don't like the fact they haven't bothered putting him in the first 2 preseason games either. I get that some of the supporting guys not going to be there because of injury concerns, but like, is he looked so great that he couldn't use a series or 2 against an NFL defense before the last preseason game?
I understand that. I think, though, there's a tremendous drop-off between your starter and your backup quarterback. And you can't afford in a preseason game to lose that guy, no matter what caliber he's at right now.
Yeah, I know the Giant fans will be angry at me, but I'm just calling like I see it. Like the number is low. I admit I could easily lose that one if they go like 8-9 or something like that. But I think the Flameouts more likely than winning 10 or 11 games.
Definitely hear you on that one.
All right, so to reset here, here's what we have. I think in the Green Bay Packers over 10.5 wins, the Patriots under 9, the Chiefs over 12.5, 49ers under 10.5, the Raiders over 7, the Giants under 7. So I feel like I got a nice wide range of outcomes here.
You're all over the place, but I don't hate many of your decisions there.
Yeah, your picks here. You got Carolina over 7.5, the Saints under 9, Dallas under 9.5, the Washington football team over 8.5, Arizona over 8.5, and the Browns over 10.5. You basically played that middle ground pretty much all your picks except for the Browns.
Yeah, I thought I was pretty neutral when making these decisions. I didn't try to go too fancy or I didn't try to go Lions, worst team in the NFL, give me the under 5, even though I was really tempted to do that. But
Yeah, for sure. So you want to set some stakes here because I remember last year it was a sandwich bet. Would you like to duplicate that?
did you get your sandwich?
I haven't met you. I haven't seen you yet. I haven't been down there enough.
We haven't seen each other. So I already owe you one sandwich.
Yeah.
So do we want to double or nothing?
We could double or nothing.
Or do you want to, you know what? I'm going to still give you the sandwich. I'm going to get you the sandwich because I'm a man of integrity. So we'll do that. And then the loser has to keep it food related.
Yeah.
Let's go out for pizza.
Okay.
Well, how about this? There's a new place in New Rochelle, cheesesteak place.
Okay.
You like cheesesteaks?
I do like cheesesteaks.
All right, so the loser pays for cheesesteaks.
That sounds like a good bet.
So I already owe you a sandwich from the local deli.
Yes.
If I lose this season, I'm going to owe you a sandwich, which you'll get your sandwich as soon as you come back down.
Yeah.
After this season, though, come December, or come January, rather, you're going to have to buy me a cheesesteak.
All right.
Now.
All right, we'll see how that goes here. And one other number I want to touch on real quick is that we didn't address it here. The Jet number of 6. Like, obviously, the Carl Lawson thing impacts that. Like, where would you put that if you had to pick it?
God, man, that's so tough. And the reason why is just the uncertainty of what you're getting out of Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the biggest reason why I don't touch that, right? I wouldn't touch anything with a potential of a rookie quarterback playing or taking over. I stay away from the Chicago Bears. Who knows? I give the same reasoning for the Jets.
Yeah.
Can Zach Wilson get them to 7 wins? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think 6 is the perfect number, truthfully.
Yeah, because they won 2 games last year, and you guys to go from 2 to 7 to basically hit the over.
That's a tremendous jump. And how much better do you think the Jets got from last season to this season?
I mean, they're certainly better. The coaching will help. The thing that scares you with the Jets is like their secondary is so bad that like the corners, they're starting very young kids. They get picked on by pretty much everybody. So like you're banking on Zach Wilson winning shootouts for you to hit the over.
And that's a tough thing to bank on with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, because I mean, their weapons are better. They're deeper.
Can you honestly say right now that you feel that Zach Wilson's got enough around him to be able to even get into those shootouts?
I think they can get in them. The question is, I don't know if their defense can hold. Let's do without Lawson, because their whole thing was like, oh, if we can get to the pass rusher, we'll protect the corners a little bit so they can develop. But without Lawson, the pass rush gets a lot less special.
Who's going to be the guy that Zach Wilson's going to rely on offensively?
Probably Corey Davis or Elijah Moore. Those are the 2 he's connected the most at camp.
So now you're relying most of your offensive production to be on 2 rookies.
Corey Davis has been in the league for a while.
Correct. But I'm saying you just mentioned Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
So even if Elijah Moore's wide receiver 2, you have a rookie quarterback and a rookie wide receiver 2 there.
Yeah. I think the loss of Lawson would push me to the under, though, to be my honest.
You're asking for a lot for guys that have never played in the NFL. And there's a lot of pressure coming to New York.
Yeah. I think the difference of the Jets this year, I think they're going to be in pretty much like all the games. They're going to lose a lot of them because they aren't going to close.
I think they'll definitely be much more competitive. They won't be a laughing stock like they were last season. Absolutely.
Yeah, we won't have these games where they're basically getting shut out in the second quarter saying, hey, like, we're losing 27-3. Don't bother watching the second half of the game.
Correct. I think you're as a Jet fan, as a football fan, you're going to be watching 4 quarters of football when it comes to the New York Jets, not just half the game.
Absolutely. And this year also, we're going to do the NFL picks once again, year number 4. We have an 18th week of picks this year. So that's going to be fun. Get one more person in the mix every year.
Any idea who you're getting on, or?
I'm still working on it. Week 1, though, we are bringing in fan of the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Charlie Borges, is coming on to do week 1 NFL picks and get ready for that Thursday night opener against the Cowboys.
You're going to pump out his chest a little bit, still celebrating that Super Bowl?
I mean, I talked to him in prior to the Super Bowl. He said, I don't think we're winning. Like, I don't feel good about it. And then they won. So now he's like, hey, like, I got my 1. I'm happy.
Hey, listen. You say that when you get one, but once you get one, you don't want to settle with just one. Trust me.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Joe, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. Before I let you go, people follow you on social media with the Sharp Cheddar podcast.
Yeah, Mike, you could, your followers, your fans, give me a follow on Twitter at Joe _.
Do not forget the double.
Don't forget it. DALOISIO. Sharp Cheddar podcast available on all podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. You know them by now. As the regular season approaches, what we like to do is we dive into a weekly preview, a weekly recap, try to invite guests to break it down, learn more about the opponent, a little bit of gambling side of things. So definitely check it out. And as always, Mike, we appreciate you.